Welcome, folks. Good Friday afternoon. Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks so much for tuning in, spending the final hour of the trading week right here with me. And we got quite an acceleration, folks. And we started off with the Dow. How about it? 50,000. Special number, right? Nice round number. Get your Dow 50,000 hat on. You talk about a run. From the April lows from 2023 at 32,000, the Dow was a laggard, and man, you're accelerating. 50,106 right now. Dow up 1,100 points. Speaking of accelerations, we kicked the program off the Dow and the Russell. How about that? The Russell up by 3.5%, folks. Up 89 points at 2676 right now. We are still decently off those all-time highs, though, on the Russell, 2749. The NASDAQ right now, bumping up against all-time highs. And I say that, it looks like it, but the NASDAQ has moved so much. You're talking about almost 1,300 points from where we are. That's only 5%, though, from where we are. NASDAQ 100, you're up by 445 points. But check this out. You're up by 850 points from where we were last night. Remarkable. And the S&Ps right now up by 1.7%, approaching 200 points off of the lows. 69.38 from 67.51. And how does a market push higher like that? Well, it's the usual culprits and then some, though. It's the Russell 2000 as well, but the biggest equities out there, NVIDIA, the biggest one of all, up by $13.38, up by 7.8%. And let's look at some of the volume in the markets, folks, and it's going to be a big day. Okay, NVIDIA, we've already done 172 million shares. The downward moves, we're about 200 million, and we're going to get a lot of volume in the final hour and on closing. NVIDIA, whew, up by 8% right now. We jump over to Amazon on their numbers. The flip side, down on them almost 8% on Amazon numbers. You take a look at the weekly. It's a disaster week, man. Amazon was already down dramatically coming into these numbers. So we were trading at 246 on Tuesday. You were at 196 last night. $50. Over a 20% pullback, folks, in what, 55 hours? 20% pullback in 55 hours. So Amazon came into those numbers down from 246 to 220. Okay, longer term, I like Amazon. But boy, the market's a little worried about spending $200 billion. And realistically, where's this thing going to find a bid? Just naturally, I mean, pretty remarkable if you go back to 2020 prices. But that's what this chart looks like right now. On a volume basis, February, we're 6 days in, folks. We're 6 days in, and we've done half the volume we did all of January. It's going to be a big month. That's your monthly. You jump over to weekly on Amazon, and yeah, just a mammoth number. You're going to take out everything we did in the last 90 days and then some with volume. 405 million on their earnings a season ago, and you're going to beat that number as we're right up against it coming into the close of an epic day to the downside for Amazon. All right, as I mentioned, now, CapEx is going to be potentially a problem. You got Amazon, Google, Meta, all trading lower. But guess what? Who's making it up for it? Yeah, the places where they're going to be spending their chips, man. NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron, AMD. Look at this. There haven't been many days where you're experiencing this type of bright green, folks. Okay, we're talking about 8% across the board right now. ASML up by 4.5. AMAT up by 6.3 right now. Some of the software stocks have been getting pummeled. AppLovin up by 7%. Jump over to Salesforce. How are they faring? No love for Salesforce, even a day like today. Watch out for this one, man. This one cannot find a bid. This thing looks like it's going back to Tesla lows at 126, man. You're breaking away with volume on Salesforce. There's going to be certain equities that are under more pressure than others, folks. And it looks like Salesforce might be the poster boy of software pressure from AI. All right, yeah, speaking of NVIDIA, I mean, it's just great that this gets said. And, of course, it's almost satire as in, what else would this gentleman say, right? NVIDIA thinks that Amazon spending $200 billion for CapEx is an appropriate and sustainable number. Well, they're spending it on NVIDIA, right? AI has become useful and very capable. The adoption of it's incredibly high. Where's the cash flow behind it? That's all you want to focus on. And we're not there just yet, okay? But yeah, people are adopting it. But are they adopting it in terms of being able to support a CapEx on this perpetual of a basis? I was saying this is not something like you build a factory, right? You don't build a Ford factory and pump out cars. So you put out $200 billion in the first few years, and then your capital's there, and you can expense that down as you get the life of that factory, right? That's not how it's going to work with data centers, man. Okay, we know the technology. You know, you're lucky you get a couple of years right now at the forefront of what's moving, 2, 3 years, 5 years. God bless you, right? Think about technology 5 years ago, folks. I got a desktop computer that's just staggering. It was top of the line. And they're telling me already that I'm pushing a Windows update that needs it, all this. So they are going to have to spend money on a perpetual basis, and they're going to have to make the income as well. Well, NVIDIA says that's okay. They'll be just fine. Yeah, we'll see where we go from there. But nonetheless, today, that's your weekly on NVIDIA. Getting it all back in one day. As in the week's losses on one day. And yeah, we'll see if we can do it on volume. All right, Google shares out with their numbers Wednesday. It's a strong day yesterday, charging back, but today you give it back again. Down by 2.6%. The market waking up to, hey, these numbers are just going to keep going up, man. And Meta off by 1.8% right now as well. So Snapchat Wednesday night just gets decimated. You're up by 2.1%. But boy, you want to talk about a tough-looking chart, man. You know, you had some action back here in September, but that action's long gone right now, man. That's your weekly. I wouldn't be touching this thing, folks. What are we talking about for market cap now? Still a $9 billion company. Wow. Pandemic, darling, to nothing. Geez, what were you approaching there? $150, $160 billion? You're at $9 billion at a $5 equity? My goodness, Snapchat. You know, it's enticing to look at this area and say maybe you're going to come back up and test $8, and maybe you are, folks. But if you're getting into this equity, this thing could be going to zero. Only risk what you're willing to lose. All right, gold right now making a run for 5,000. You're at 49.77. We got silver at 77.14, and platinum right now 2,100. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming right back.